What's up, everybody? So I'm doing this live broadcast to basically talk to you guys a little just about the whole unrooting for the LG G Stylo on Boost Mobile. Simple fact is that a lot of people are thinking that you can use Super SU to do an unroot, and that is furthest from the truth. And I'm seeing, that people have either bricked their devices or the update was tossed out, it was rejected, and they're wondering why. And there's people that's commenting and like responding to people where it's like, how do I unroot my G Stylo? And there's people that's commenting, use Super SU to do a full unroot or use Kingo root to do a full unroot. And while that does remove root from your phone, it does not stop the update from knowing that the phone had been rooted prior to the update. That's the whole thing. It has the Knox patch or the Knox thing that Samsung has. It has that. And why LG incorporated that, I don't know. I think that's one of the most ridiculous things ever. People are going to develop on their smartphones no matter what. They're going to develop on it. And so when you put something like that, of course you're going to get the backlash and headaches of people having brick devices and whatnot. It's really just going to mess it up for a lot of people. So I don't know why they did that, but they did. That's the number one thing, is that they did do it. So while you use Super SU or you use Kingo root and you do the full unroot, while it does remove the root files off the phone and it does delete the root governor application like Super SU or King root or whatever you guys are using, it does not stop the update from knowing that the phone had been rooted. Okay, I say this a lot, and I'm trying to get it out there for people to understand. It's kind of hard to type out a long comment on YouTube when it's easier for me to make a video or stream about it and actually say, what it is. So I really hope that this video can make it and cycle around to a lot of people that are having some interesting problems with 6.0. And that's another thing I am going to discuss, in this live broadcast real quick, is some feedback I've been getting from people about the G Stylo and the 6.0 Marshmallow update. One of the things that I made a quick video on, like early this morning, was my disappointment in the ability for adoptable storage is not available with the G Stylo at all. And I'll show you guys right now that it is not possible, which is one thing that sucks. I know there was a comment that I think like some people got a little annoyed about because the person was like, it sucks to be us, ha ha ha. And yeah, it does suck to be us because this is something that we are entitled to. It comes with Marshmallow, so I did not understand why they didn't do this. So you go into storage, you go into settings, you go into format. There is no drop down at all whatsoever. There's not one. Nothing to select. All it does is formats it as a portable storage. It will not format it for the internal storage, which would have been great because I'm running a 32 gig SD card in here. So if it did have the stock 6.0 feature for adoptable storage open, that 29.2 gigabytes, that all would have been my new internal storage. Like, I wouldn't care the fact that I couldn't connect it to a PC and try to like upload a movie to it or whatever. Like, that wouldn't have bothered me whatsoever because I would have had 32 gigs of internal storage to use, which is sad. Totally annoying that it went that way. So I am just a tad bit sad about it. I know people have interesting things like let's email LG and whatever, and who knows, maybe with enough reviews about it going on, LG catching wind of it, they may just go ahead and actually probably like do an update and get that fixed out. Bernard Thomas says over here, someone please get root for the ZTE Warp Elite, please. Okay, see, here's the thing with the ZTE Warp Elite, and that was before it was ever released. Now, I'm assuming this, it's, I haven't really checked up on it to confirm it, but, with the locked bootloader, there's nothing you really can do. There's no root exploits for it. As a matter of fact, it's been stated that it has to, That when ZTE actually built the Warp Elite and they were programming for it, that they actually had a mindset of making it like an unrootable phone. So developers, and especially some of the main developers, are not going to try and jump on the ZTE Warp Elite and try to develop for it. Sebastian, hey, what's up? So yeah, so I mean, as much as we would love to get root for the Warp Elite, I doubt that's going to happen. There's not enough developers interested in trying, and the fact that it may have a locked bootloader and that there are so much things put in place to prevent it from being rooted, it's just not going to happen. And that sucks for people that want to use root applications. I totally get it. For me, the Warp Elite is fine the way it is. I really don't see a reason, in my opinion, to actually root it. But there's probably people that are using root applications that need root in order to use those apps. So I understand it. So, but anyways, so yeah, with the G Stylo, no adoptable storage. That's one thing that I really frowned upon. Some people have been reporting that it's just been very laggy. The only time I can say I really experienced lag was when I was doing a screencast and I was trying to navigate around to show you guys some things like Google Now on Tap, which for some freaking reason, that actually lagged. So when I was trying to just do a demo of it, it took a while for Now on Tap to actually load and whatnot. So I mean, it's so totally weird, For that, I would have, I didn't expect it because my whole experience with the G Stylo on 6.0 Marshmallow, it's pretty snappy. This is the 8 gigs of internal storage, 1 gig of RAM. So it's not Hey Robert, hello, how you doing? So it's not the high powered one that T-Mobile has. It doesn't have 16 gigs of onboard storage and 2 gigs of RAM. This is the weaker spec one, and it is much smoother. Try to open up my dialer. But I mean, it's much smoother than what it was on Lollipop. I can honestly say that, so that's always a good thing, You don't want lag and whatnot, and I'm pretty sure it will lag down if you do some heavy gaming. Like I'm almost for sure, and that's just because of the fact that the low storage amount also doubles up with the 1 gig of RAM. It's just really not gonna help push like heavy gaming, like if you're gonna play like Mortal Kombat X, or if you're gonna play was it Grand Theft Auto 5 on mobile. I don't think it can push anything like that. The G Stylo, at the end of the day, is a budget device, regardless if it's a phablet, regardless if it has a built-in stylus and the stylus screen technology built into it. It's still a budget device. So, if you come into the mindset expecting the G Stylo to be like like a Galaxy Note 5, then you really got your mind in the wrong place. So anyways, but there was a person that follows me on Instagram, and she was telling me a little bit of like, her experiences with 6.0, that the phone has been like super laggy as hell, that it's just been all kinds of problems, and I totally understand. I mean, everyone's experience is going to be different, but one of the things that I guess I can say, like how I updated my G Stylo, so it might help, is one, I did grab the update zip. Let me grab some water here real quick because like, my voice is all scratchy. Do you think it completely force close the heavy games, or just like I think it would force close after a while. I honestly believe. I think that when you are starting to play it, it'll start to lag a little bit, but I mean, as the CPU heats up, it'll eventually just crash. But anyways, so the way that I updated my G Stylo was I used the update.zip. I had it on the SD card, and I went ahead and went into recovery, and I updated manually that way. But after I had updated, I had rebooted into the phone. And I noticed that once it was fully booted and it did the app optimizations for Marshmallow, certain apps like Instagram my voice is all scratchy today, but like Instagram, Snapchat, all those, they were like, as soon as I tapped them, they force closed. So I was like, okay, I'm going to wipe the cache. So I went back into recovery. I wiped the cache. What is happening here? I'm just talking about the LG G Stylo on Boost Mobile with the 6.0 update. But anyways, so yeah, it forced closed. So I went back into recovery and I just did the wipe cache. I didn't factory reset it. I just wiped the cache and then rebooted back the system. And from there, it was just a smooth experience. I mean, with basic things like running Facebook. And the reason why I say that it is a step up from Lollipop was because when the G Stylo was on Lollipop and I had Facebook, like the full Facebook not website, but application. When I had that on there, it would lag like crazy, just crazy lag. I mean, and you didn't even have to be in the Facebook app. Just having it installed on your phone and logged in, and like all the cache built up from that what the app uses, just really just kind of like was a bad experience. And that was on Lollipop. And as of right now, I have the full Facebook application on there. I'm not using Facebook Lite, which is an international Facebook application, which is again, it's light. It's not even over 10 megabytes of application file. Like I was using that when it was on Lollipop. Right now on Marshmallow, I can actually use the full Facebook. So that's why I kind of give it points as it being a step up as far as performance. That now it can handle social intense applications. It can handle that. As far as like heavy intense gaming, no. I don't think it can handle that very long. I mean, I am going to do some demos, and I am going to actually post some videos on YouTube of doing some gameplay. I'm probably going to try out Mortal Kombat X and some other ones. So, I mean, you guys can comment on this stream, like what games I should try that you guys know is a heavy, intense game on the G Stylo to see how well it can handle. And that would totally help me out because I'm not much of a gamer. I mean, I use my Nexus player to play games. I don't really use my Android devices, or like I use any one of my tablets that I have to play games. So a lot of my gaming is done on my tablets. On my smartphones, I just keep it strictly social network and like light media, like YouTube to connect with people, and just check how my videos are doing and try to reply to comments, and like Facebook, Google Plus, to stay in touch with people that I connect with through YouTube and have become my friends on Google Plus and on Facebook, and just connect with them. So I mean, really, it just boils down to that. Crazy thing that's happening right now, I'm noticing this, is that when you guys post, when you guys type in a comment, it's like replaying over and over again, like it's retyping it. So I don't know if like on YouTube, if you guys are gonna see like 20 of repeated posts that you guys are posting, because like the latest one from Warren Ellis right now is just saying what's happening here, and there's like well over I think 20 plus just posting over and over again. I don't know what's going on, but it could be the app that I'm using that I'm streaming from. So I'm using an app called Emaze, which is live YouTube streaming. Desert Diversion. Hey, what's up? What's going on? So yeah, so on my end, it's showing you guys' comments repeating over and over again. Like, here, I'll try to reflect it. See if you guys can see that. If it will reflect, I don't know if it will. But anyways, so I, personally, at the end of the day, I think that LG really did mess up on certain things. I mean, as far as performance-wise, battery-wise, I mean, all those things are stellar with the G Stylo. But when it comes to the adoptable storage feature, that should have been there because that's a feature that's natively in stock Android 6.0. Like that not being there is a total disappointment. And the fact that the update is not actually being taken well by other G Stylo models that are the weaker version. Like for T-Mobile and Metro PCS, I can't tell you guys about that version of the G Stylo. I don't own it, so and I don't know if 6.0 rolled out to it right away. As of this point, I know it is getting it, but at this point right now, there's like really nothing. I haven't heard nothing about it, so I can't answer anything about that. But as far as for Boost Mobile and Sprint, They did get the rollout. It is rolling out in stages also. So I did notice on the Facebook page, I believe that Paul Tech runs or is involved. I believe it's Paul Tech's page. But there's people that was talking about when are they going to get the update, and the update comes out in stages. I agree with you. 6.0.1 is awesome. Good. Well, see, I can't really say anything about 6.0.1 because on the G Stylo, it's just 6.0. Like 6.0.1 is the actual like the newest release. I think like a couple of weeks ago was released. We don't have that version on the G Stylo. We just have 6.0. But yeah, I think LG really dropped the ball on this one as far as getting 6.0 to the G Stylo. And personally, I wouldn't have mind waiting another month. Like even if we got the update in February, I wouldn't have mind because my opinion when it comes to these updates is, it's better that they make sure they got all the bugs ironed out. They got the update pretty much like ready to go and roll it out. My darn 3 megabyte connection is lagging. Oh, my bad. But yeah, they rolled it out. Everything is doing okay, except with minus the adoptable storage, which is really annoying, and the fact that I have it on Nexus 6. Yeah. See, so I mean that's like one thing that I think is like really dope. I wish one day that I'm actually gonna drop the money to get a Nexus. Normally I go for something that is budget, and that's pretty much the whole point. Like I was asked this too, like why don't I ever buy flagship devices and review them? And there's a lot of people that review flagship devices. Like the main bloggers review it, and then there's tons of people that follow in suit. But no one really shows devices that cost under 200 or under $300 that perform just as well as flagships. Right, that's what I try to do, as well as several other colleagues of mine like CB Tech Reviews and Paul Tech and Dominic. That's what we do. And Budget Tech Reviews also, because I see that he's coming back in the game with his videos. So, but I mean, yeah, that's why I don't buy flagships. But eventually, I will get a Nexus. The one thing I would really love is to be able to buy a Nexus and put it on Boost Mobile, because I know you could do some weird quirky method like having it fed into Boost Mobile as an iPhone for it to work. But I just think that Nexus devices are unlocked. They should allow it on Boost Mobile's network, the same that they allow it on Sprint, which is the mother parent, and of course on Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. Oh, you really can't hear me? Is it that low? I'm pretty sure the microphone on this is low. I really wanted band 12 with T-Mobile since I have it out here. Like, how fast is band 12? Because I don't think Boost Mobile has band 12. I think we have like what, band 25, band 40 something. You turn your volume all the way up. Yeah, this is another thing that I noticed about the ZTE Warp Elite, because that's what I'm streaming off of, and like the audio on this one is low. I mean, if I was to stream with the G Stylo, it'd probably be louder. But this app that I use to stream to YouTube is not compatible on the G Stylo with Marshmallow. And then of course like YouTube Gaming 25, 26, and 41. Yeah, that's, and now band 1. But what are the speeds of band 1 right now? Oh, it's not that fast. It's more for getting reception in stores, though. So it's a more powerful signal to break through like buildings that have concrete and like iron support pillars and stuff, right? So like the signal can get through and not get bounced around or shielded out. Hey guys, I'm real sorry that the audio is down. I mean, this is one of those things with the G Stylo that I find annoying. Not G Stylo, but the Warp Elite that I find annoying is like recording videos on this and streaming on it is really low. I don't get why. But that's probably one of the things that I am going to change before I close out this stream. Just let you guys know uh, in February sometime, band one is carrier aggression. Okay. I am going to pick up some gear to start producing better videos. So I will have like better cameras, microphones, and whatnot. Yeah, I have the G Stylo and I'm trying to make it run faster. But what version of Android is it on? Is it on Lollipop or did you already update it to 6.0 Marshmallow? I don't know. When you got a Nexus too, and like, you have like the speakers are up front too as well, so I don't know. I really don't know. You know, some people are having a hard time hearing me, and some people can hear me. So I just want to be able to make sure that like all of you guys can hear me at some point on some of the things I'm saying. 75 megabits per second on band one for me. Okay. Oh, all right. So you're on 6.0. You're on, see that's so totally weird. Like you're on 6.0 and you know your G Stylo is not performing so great, and you know there's a lot of people that saying that there's not performing so great, and like right now I feel like that I have to be like one of the lucky ones because mine's is performing just fine. As far as running applications, navigating through all these apps and whatnot, it's stellar. And the only thing that I did, you know, because there's no root for 6.0 on the G Stylo, all I did was I rebooted back into recovery and I wiped cache. I didn't factory reset it. I just did the lesser of the two. I just wiped the cache and then rebooted the system. Yeah, the G Stylo on 6.0 is locked down. The bootloader is completely locked. So chances of root happening, doubt it. And especially now that we're in 2016, I have a Warp Elite. I can hear you fine, but I have my Dolby sound on. Thumbs up, Jake. Um, and you know, and that's one of the things that does kind of irritate me too is the fact that like all these manufacturers they're taking these extra precautions to block root. I mean, the Warp Elite, there's so many people that ask me, you know, how do you root it? There's no root. The Warp Elite from ZTE was actually built to be unrootable. And the bootloader, I am assuming, is locked down. Like completely locked down on the Warp Elite. And then, of course, too, I mean, there probably might be an exploit they can use to root it, but then again, it would take developers actually paying attention to the Warp Elite to get that kind of development done. And most developers today, they only mess with flagships on T-Mobile and I believe, well, just mostly T-Mobile because T-Mobile really doesn't lock down anything. I know Sprint is starting to lock down some devices. They're locking down the bootloaders. Verizon's done it already, and AT&T does it. Yeah, the S3 before. Yeah. Well, older devices, the bootloaders are not locked down, but these newer ones, they are. I mean, I don't know, it's kind of like a trade-off because with 6.0 Marshmallow, they're incorporating things that normally we would have to root our phones to get, like adoptable storage, to be able to use your micro SD card as your phone's internal storage, replacing the original internal storage on your device. Like, you don't need root on 6.0 for that, but like back in the day, we did. We needed root to use link to SD, to format our SD cards, to have like 3 different partitions in it, and to store apps completely on the SD card using either ext4 or ext2 format. So that is, something that I think is cool that they brought to the table with Marshmallow. And security feature wise, even though I am going to do a video that apparently, I think it was Root Junkie. Let's see. The thing about the G Stylo, there's no bootloader, the recovery itself locks, and the firmware, I noticed. Okay. But see, here's the thing. Now I just brain farted. What the hell was I going to say? The G Stylo. Well, not G Stylo, but LG. And I believe it was Root Junkie that found an exploit. But the whole recovery thing that was in security for 5.1 Lollipop and up, where, if someone stole your phone and you had a pin on your phone and they try to boot into recovery to wipe it, once it reboots from being wiped, it asks you to log into the previous Gmail account that was on the device. I believe it was Root Junkie. He found a method to get around it and break into the phone. So there is a security flaw with LG devices. It wasn't said that it was all across Android phones, but just with LG phones. Compared to other things. I just think maybe a Google with with Android is seeing how most people root their devices and what they're rooting their devices for, and they're trying to incorporate those things that we get root for into stock Android. And if that's what they're trying to do, then I can understand why they're trying to get rid of the ability for us to actually root our Android devices. LG gives us more RAM. How do you mean LG gives us more RAM? Because right now the G Stylo only has like 1 gig of RAM. It's not upgraded. Now, you're saying that if you wish LG did give us more RAM, yeah, this whole thing of 2 different devices, like the G Stylo on Sprint was 8 gigs, and he must have T-Mobile 2 gigabytes. Probably because, like I said, there's only 2 different models. The practical base model, which came to Boost Mobile and Sprint, which is 8 gigs of internal storage and 1 gig of RAM, 8 megapixel rear facing camera and a 5 megapixel front facing shooter. And then you had the Plus, which I think they should have just called it the LG G Stylo Plus, because that one had 16 gigs of onboard storage, 2 gigs of RAM, I believe a 13 or a 16 megapixel rear facing camera and a 5 megapixel front facing camera, also built in NFC. So even though they're both identically the same as far as body wise, like you couldn't tell a difference between the two. They could have put like a plus on the back to let people know that was like the T-Mobile GSM version that had more 13 megapixels. Okay. My lady heard you say RAM. She said, yeah. So anyhow, I mean, I don't know. There's just, I feel like LG kind of rushed this whole 6.0 update. They rushed it. A boost rep told me Sprint had no control over what model LG gave them. Not necessarily, because companies do get to go and bid on devices that they want exclusively to them. Like say for instance the Galaxy S5, they bid on it to go to AT&T first before it goes to other carriers, and AT&T would have that phone exclusively for possibly like a month before it's released on other carriers. They do kind of bid on it. Hey, what's up, Dre James? Not necessarily. I mean, it really boils down like, I mean, sometimes it could be that, but from what I was told and from what I've gathered from other people, it's just really what Sprint spends their money on. Because like LG pumps out devices and say like they have like a brand new device, like when they came out the G Stylo, they were like, yeah, we have the G Stylo, we have 2 different versions, and this will cost this much, because Sprint does not get these phones for free. They pay for them, and then they market it out on the price that they can make some money on it as well, profit. So it just depends on what Sprint spent their money on. To me personally, I think they should have never made two different versions. It's like the HTC Desire 626S and the 626 original. I really feel like they shouldn't have done that. And even with the newest, the LG K7, aka the LG Tribute 5, there's two versions of that. And of course, the one that's going into the GSM market is going to be the stronger spec of the two. Like, there's no point making two different versions. It causes confusion above all. I mean, if you look at some of the mainstream, like CNET, if you look at their website when they did their review of the G Stylo, the guy was so confused. Like, he was on the Boost Mobile site. He had the Boost Mobile version of the G Stylo, but he was claiming like 16 gigs of onboard storage and 1 gigabyte of RAM. Like, it was so confusing. It was the biggest fudge up ever, you know, and that's what happens when they do this. I mean, you build a device, you build a G Stylo, build them all the same, whether they're going to CDMA or GSM, build them all the same. Note 4 on the latest version has log bootloader. You have to restore on that device. Oh, okay. I've been streaming for like 30 minutes already.